Hey guys, what's going on? Zonky the Donkey here, and today we're going to be going over the month 1 patch notes. Pardon me for my voice, I'm a little under the weather. The doctor told me I had the donkey flu. It's kind of like AIDS and swine flu all rolled into one. It's pretty bad, but let's go ahead and get started. Talking about known issues, I'm going to highlight what we're going over at the time. They did add the motorbike and the vector into this game, and the motorcycle just tilts slightly to the right while being driven straight. And also another big deal is the tires of the motorbike can't be shot out at the moment. Just a side note, after playing in game, the motorcycle is the fastest vehicle in the game. It can get up a little bit over 120 kilometers an hour. However, you are extremely vulnerable with it. I've already met my unfortunate demise several times on that. Now, jumping forward from there, talking about making some improvements to address FPS drops when opening the UI inventory. From what I understand, this isn't fully resolved, but basically anytime you push tab to open up your inventory, people were experiencing pretty big FPS dumps. I've still been experiencing the same. Probably the thing I'm most excited about is this one right here, is reducing the load on the CPU through instance rendering so that GPUs can function to their full capabilities. This game is ultra CPU intensive, especially before this patch, and lots of people are reporting significant FPS increases. I think mine average FPS increased by over 20 since the load is being divided between your graphics card and your CPU now. Another awesome thing, I avoided Maya, Poliana, and Georgia Pole like the plague because of just looking at those towns, you drop down to about 20-30 FPS. This has been alleviated somewhat. It's not completely fixed though. Now, when it comes to if you have minimum system PC specs, I can't speak from experience on this one, but just from reading around on the forums, performance has been improved for those systems. And I think this is a kind of optimization thing, talking about performance improvements have been made in relation to items and spawned in the world. Basically just all the items that are spawning in, it takes some type of computing power for you to render those. And it's just another optimization fix. Now, probably the most exciting thing of all, adding the Vector SMG. This fires the 45 caliber round. It excels really well in short to mid-range combat. It takes a series of attachments. It can only take a vertical grip. There's extended mags for it. You can throw silencers on it as well. Really awesome for urban warfare. Same thing with the motorbike. All of them have a sidecar. They can seat up to 3 people, and these things cruise. Now, there's this 2x aim point scope that got added as well. I'm not all that excited about this, to be honest, because the design of it is really clunky at the moment, where it takes up a huge portion of your screen, and the dot is really, really thick, and it makes it hard to get precise aiming, and you have a really limited peripheral views while using this. The ballistic mask is pretty cool. A lot of people don't realize that the level 1 and 2 helmets do not protect you from headshots to your face. So this ballistic mask will basically increase your survivability with those level 1 and 2 helmets. Now, the 3 new color variations for the dossier, there's red, yellow, and white. I really like the yellow because it blends in a lot to the wheat fields or the yellowish tinted fields in the game, and the crossbow is back. I mean, it's not that good of a weapon. It does, I do believe, 1-hit kills to the face and chest with no armor. So early on, this is a pretty good game, or a pretty good gun if you've got the ability to land those shots. Now, aside from that, talking about density of environmental elements to be identical. Basically, no matter what graphics settings you have on now, the foliage is going to be the same, whether it's going to be random piles of debris, bushes, grass, it's all going to be the same. This is a huge balance feature. A lot of the big name streamers and higher end players were turning everything to very low to gain a competitive advantage. Few objects have been addressed. People were getting stuck in certain places. Same thing with trees that were floating, spawning inside houses, and thunder sounds have been adjusted a little bit. Some basic text editing and item descriptions, and now attachments have descriptions. I believe they tell you now in general what they do, whether it's reducing recoil, horizontal, vertical, etc. The dead teammate icon is going to disappear now after a certain time. I believe it's probably just a couple minutes. This was kind of an annoying thing. This is a good quality of life feature because it clears up your map and your screen a little bit. You can now share map markers with your teammates. Each one is color coded depending on whether you're the first, second, third, or fourth player. So it's good for just some organization stuff in terms of defining, hey, the enemy is right here, and you can place a marker on the map. This is actually probably going to be one of the best things you can do, because if you know for sure exactly where someone is, you can place that marker down, and all your teammates are going to know where they are. And your teammates now appear on the map, their names that is, so you can just organizationally, that helps out some nice quality of life improvements. Now, changes made to the revive state. Being able to move sideways and backwards is really big because you can more effectively move into cover. You could only move forward before, so it exposed you to a lot of additional fire that was unneeded, because you could only move in one direction, and basically you can be saved at any point in the revive process. Before, if your health got low enough while you were knocked down, you were just dead no matter what, because with the 9 seconds it would take to revive you, it was just too long. Now, if you're knocked down, you're going to be able to see that 9-second countdown as well. Let's talk about improvements to address the issues of character shaking. I'm not really 100% sure what that's all about. I've never experienced any shaking, but in terms of the spectate system, oh, that's what the spectate system is referring to. Yeah, the camera was a little shaky when you're spectating. And being able to open the map while you're spectating is good because you can make some suggestions to your teammates. And being able to view the casting bar is just another nice quality of life feature. One thing I'm not pleased with the devs right now is that they're just saying they're adjusting the balance, but not telling you what they're doing. I can tell some guns feel a little wonkier than they were before. Like, for example, the M416, which was pretty much widely known as the most stable gun in the game. I can tell they added a significant amount of recoil to it, even with all the attachments, but they're not releasing the specific details. Now, I'm sure once the game is in a full release state, they'll release the new values for all that. But as of now, I just don't have the information for you in terms of what balance changes were happening. Let's talk about this issue where basically if you shot tires out on a car, sometimes they would just grind to a halt immediately rather than coast to a stop. That's been issued. Sprinting in the crouch stance is nice now. This is helpful, especially I find in the end game whenever there's just bushes and not really any real cover. You can still move rapidly in a crouch state while sprinting, while at least having a little bit of concealment. I'm not sure, armed, unarmed state. I think this is whenever you push X and you holster your weapon, you can run faster. I think sometimes this wouldn't work if there were server issues. Blood hit effect size now varies according to the weapon caliber. Basically, the bigger the bullet you're firing, the bigger the blood will splatter. That's just kind of that really doesn't matter in the whole scope of things, I suppose. You can move while aiming and are scoping in the prone state. Once again, this is a really uncommon thing. Most of the time, if you're prone and scoped in anyways, you're not really planning to move. And there's a sitting position of the character in the back right seat in the UAS, which has been fixed. Wasn't really aware of that. Just some minor animation fixes. Alright, so we have the dev showing fix an issue where aiming from vehicles is not accurate. I was not personally aware of that, as shooting from vehicles always feels like a crapshoot to me. This next one's worded a little oddly as well, talking about the positions of bullet hits are now the same for both yourself and the others. I don't know if he's referring to the TV show Lost or what. Don't know what that means. There's an issue where there's a hitbox for the head was slightly larger than the actual head. That's always a good fix because bullshit headshots are bullshit. Ragdoll physics adjusted a little bit. Fix an issue that caused the character to use the wrong aim offset when using free lunk function while holding a grenade. Was not aware of anything related to that. We're just going to go ahead and skip ahead to improve the quality of zoomed in scope views. I believe the actual scope itself has been improved. I noticed that I used the 15XL today and noticed it was a more refined, better looking scope picture. And this next one's talking about bolt actions are triggered even after the final shot has been fired. Basically, this just allows for a quicker ability to fire after you reload a bolt action rifle. Some cool swimming animations to go up and down. reload animation fixes for the M249 and the 1911 pistol, and some animation fixes for crouching while holding a melee weapon. A lot of these really aren't that big of a deal. The one that I noticed is the muzzle flash is now brighter than before, now visible from a longer distance. This makes the flash hider attachment a lot more viable. That's probably the number one thing for that. Sound differences for supersonic and non-supersonic bullet speeds. I imagine it'd probably be a sharper crack for the supersonic bullets. I'm pretty sure I've noticed that in game already. So you can kind of tell what weapon is being fired at you based off of how sharp of a pitch it is. Made adjustments so that the sound of the bullet flying through the air doesn't play when shots are fired from a short distance from your character. So this is basically if someone's firing at you from point blank, you're not going to hear the crack, 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 crack noises of the bullets whizzing over you. This is one of my favorite things. You can now tell what floor people are on in buildings by listening to their footsteps. Sounds of the SKS are adjusted mid to long range combat, and then overall volume of footsteps is going to be constantly balanced, as things go on. There's now a test server you can opt in through the beta to test their future updates. A lot of people did this for this latest patch, and then some essential bug fixes, just some basic quality of life stuff. Nothing. Actually, well, I guess the one big one is fix the bug that caused a knocked out player to be ejected in front of a vehicle, so that person would get immediately runned over. I don't know English, man, but that person would die because they would get run over by the vehicle, and now they're going to be put out to the side. That's pretty nice. So, as usual, guys, hit me up on Discord. Join the Discord channel that's listed in the description. We've got over 250 people constantly playing pickup games. It's the best source to get in contact, or it's the best location to get into contact with me. Follow me on Twitter and Twitch. We'll be doing some streams intermittently throughout the week. And as always, I will see you guys on the battlefield.